With Solidarity leader Lech Wałęsa.
The unofficial leader of the government. Well, I spoke with him earlier today by satellite, but before we go to that, let's take a look at how this one man has transformed a nation. This is where it all started 9 years ago, the Lenin shipyard in Gdansk, Poland, on the Baltic Sea. Workers occupying the yard demanding a political voice. This is the man who led them then and leads them now, Lech Wałęsa, the head of Solidarity. And this is where he led them, to a historic moment yesterday in the Polish parliament as delegates voted in their first non-communist prime minister since World War II. It had been a long and rocky road. The Nazis crushed Polish independence in 1939. The Soviets liberated Poland from the Germans and then settled in to stay. In one way or another, the country has been under continuous communist rule for almost 50 years, until yesterday. The new Solidarity Prime Minister, Tadeusz Mazowiecki, was virtually handpicked by Lech Wałęsa. He's been part of Solidarity's inner circle from the early days in Gdansk. He was there when Wałęsa, a shipyard electrician, generated the sparks that would become a political thunderbolt. Solidarity's first successes in 1980 were overturned with water cannons and martial law a year and a half later. Lech Wałęsa was arrested and detained for 11 months. But the spirit of Solidarity survived, flourishing, in fact, as the country itself faced increasing economic hardships. Poles were standing in longer lines to pay higher prices for just about everything. Finally, new elections were called for this June. And to the communists' amazement, Solidarity swept the board. A month later, President Bush arrived with his congratulations.
To those who think that freedom can be forever denied, I say, let them look at Poland.
He stood shoulder to shoulder with Wałęsa in Gdansk and promised economic help. But the new government faces staggering burdens as it takes office. Ironically, Solidarity's gravest challenge comes now with its political victory. That paradox was very much on my mind when I talked with Lech Wałęsa in Gdansk earlier today. Mr. Wałęsa, you have achieved a great triumph of the human spirit. Do you feel that you have a mission, and do you feel that you have now fulfilled it?
Nie. Żadnych misji nie czuję.
I don't feel I have any kind of mission. I am not a prophet. I am a simple workman, and I want good for Poland. Now I'm trying to achieve it.
You know, there is an even higher post than that of Prime Minister, and it is that of President, currently held by General Jaruzelski. There are those who say that you ultimately want to be president or would consider being president. Is that on your mind at all?
No, I'm a free man, perhaps the most free man in the world. Any post of president or prime minister deprives you of freedom. I wouldn't like to lose my freedom. I would like to work with the president and prime minister, but be free. So I don't want to assume this post.
You say now unequivocally that you do not want a political position in Poland.
I want to say the most free people are workers, while the most constrained are presidents and ministers. I want to be free. I think my nature is not good for being a statesman.
Well, let us deal with the primary problem in your country, and that is the disastrous economy. Your prime minister is a former journalist with no experience in economics or managing an economy, nor do you have this experience. How do you hope to tackle that problem? What do you see as the solutions?
My role is only to help the Prime Minister and to serve Poland. We know in Poland we have specialists in various areas, and they are going to do everything necessary to help Poland. Now we need foreign assistance and deeper involvement in cooperation to solve Polish problems. Without that, we are not able to solve them.
Do you hope to bring capitalism into Poland in a country that is still run by a communist bureaucratic system? Is capitalism the answer for you?
To nie będzie kapitalizm. To
It
będzie...
won't be capitalism. It will be a system that is better than capitalism, that will reject everything that is evil in capitalism and will adopt everything that was proven in the system that we have been living in. Together, we'll try to build a Polish system.
You have a very tall order. Your reforms may mean hardship, will probably mean hardship, unemployment, price increases, perhaps even closing shipyards, perhaps even closing the shipyard in Gdansk. What if your own union, Solidarność, decides to strike?
Oczywiście
It is not easy. We are aware of those difficulties. As a union, we will always try to get as much as possible, but we cannot destroy the country that we live in. This is the attitude of my leadership and my union.
Would you ask your union members not to strike, to give you a time period? And if so, how long a time period?
w tym temacie
This subject will be the matter of our statement soon. We have to stress that we have the right to strike, but we also have an obligation to rule the country. We should try not to destroy the country economically.
Mr. Wałęsa, one could argue that the communists have been very clever by leaving Solidarność to clean up an impossible economy. There is the danger that Solidarność could be blamed for economic disaster, and the communists could emerge stronger than ever. I'm certain that has entered your mind.
wszystkie te rzeczy braliśmy pod uwagę.
All those things we took into account. There is only one Poland we are responsible for. So regardless the limitations and difficulties, we have to take our country in our hands and try to save it.
Your victory is being regarded by many as the beginning of the end of communism. Do you see it this way? Would you like to see the death of communism?
Chcę powiedzieć, że chcę widzieć śmierć
I
komunizmu.
would want to see the death of communism, the kind of communism that existed in my country until recently. I am not a theoretician. I know the communism of the type of Stalin, Khrushchev, and Brezhnev, and I think this communism should die. We will build instead a system based on democracy and freedom. This will give better economic and other opportunities.
If you could, would you like Poland to have a democratic system like the United States?
Ach, kto by nie chciał być Stanami
Who
Zjednoczonymi?
wouldn't want to be the United States? We would want to have all which is good in the United States, and there is a lot of good things there. But we also want to save what is good in our country, and we have some good things here too. So this would be rather a combination of the United States and Poland.
What do you think the victory of Solidarność means to the other countries in the Eastern Bloc? What does it mean to the Baltic states? What does it mean to Czechoslovakia?
My nie chcemy
We
nikogo
don't want to persuade anybody. We have to reform our country, and if other countries like what we are doing and want to follow us, we don't mind. But we are not going to persuade anybody or impose anything.
Do you believe or favor Mr. Gorbachev's form of communism? You say you are against Stalin communism, Brezhnev communism. What about Gorbachev communism?
Chcę powiedzieć, że
I
nie
don't know what will happen in 20 years. Today, however, we wish him all the best in all his reforms. We wish him all the best.
Have you spoken to him yourself this week?
nie rozmawiałem. Myślę, że
No, I
ma
haven't.
dużo pracy.
I think he is very busy now. He is running a superpower. So I think now he has no time for Wałęsa.
And yet he has been supporting you. What do you think are his motives in supporting Solidarność this past week?
Chciałbym to
I
usłyszeć.
would like to hear that from him.
Let's talk about our country. You have a foreign debt of $39 billion. What would you most like the Bush administration to do specifically?
Mówimy krótko.
In short, I would say we have a tremendous debt in this system, and to construct a new system, we invite the United States and other countries. We are not able to do it by ourselves alone. And we ask everyone who is listening to us to loosen the knot of our debt. Let us build this. Give us money. We'll implement the contract and we'll give the money back. Another example, joint ventures. Different countries may buy shares of Polish companies, and I welcome this form of cooperation. Today, the West is applauding Poland, but it is behaving like a young lady who would want to, but at the same time, she's afraid to.
We have an expression in America, put your money where your mouth is. Do you understand that expression? Is it appropriate?
Tak jest, dokładnie tak.
Yes, I understand. We're not begging for money. We want cooperation. We don't want new debts. We want cooperation that every party would profit from. There are huge possibilities for making money in Poland, for making good business. But they say that it is not convenient in Poland because we don't have telephones, we don't have fax machines. If we had telephones and fax machines, and if it were as good as you would like it to be, we wouldn't need you.
Mr. Wałęsa, do you have a time period in mind?
Właściwie to ja się
I
was...
am asking you how long it will take. What I am saying is that if we fail, then we can blame the world, even the United States, for not coming with aid, with cooperation at this crucial time. You would be to blame for Polish failure.
You grew up under the communist system, but at one point you knew that it had to be changed. Can you tell us the turning point when you said no more?
Jak się przyjrzałem dobrze,
When I looked closer, I realized that if the system under which I was living were tried in the Sahara, they would soon run out of sand. When I realized that, I tried to change it.
Mr. Wałęsa, you have said that your wife is an unsung hero. Can you tell us a little bit about her and what all of this has meant to your family?
powiem
I will
jednym
tell
zdaniem.
you in one sentence. I am not a leader in my home. My wife is a leader.
I assume that's a wonderful compliment.
Ale ja głośno żonie to nie powiem.
But I won't tell her about it. She doesn't speak English, so hopefully she'll never know.
Very wise, and I promise not to let her hear it from us. You are a very religious man, Mr. Wałęsa. When you say your prayers tonight, what will you ask for your country?
Oczywiście, żeby nam się to wszystko powiodło.
I pray for
Mamy
success.
wolność.
We have freedom. We want bread.
We are grateful to you for being on with us today. Together, meaning with the United States?
Tak, bo pani...
Yes, together with you, because you symbolize the United States and I symbolize Poland. I hope we'll have a cup of coffee together one day.
Nothing would please me more than to one day have a cup of coffee or a cup of Polish tea, and we could toast freedom.
Tylko Polska jest gorzka.
Polish tea is bitter. I don't put sugar in it.
Any way you want to have it would be okay with me. How's that?
Jest, ja mam nadzieję...
I hope I will be over in the United States in October or November. I hope you will not forget me. I would really like to meet you.
I have a feeling